Part 1. The Secret That Goes Beyond Life. The world of magic and illusions has always fascinated people with its mystery. One of the most famous couples in this world, Harry Houdini and his wife Bess, ignited the imagination of millions with their incredible performances. Yet, the greatest mystery of their lives remained unsolved even after their deaths. Harry Houdini, known not only for his escape artistry, but also for his fight against fraud and spiritualism, made an unusual agreement with Bess before his death. If one of them were to die first, they would try to contact the other from the afterlife and transmit a secret code that only they both knew. This code was meant to prove whether there was truly life after death or if it was merely the invention of fraudsters. After Harry's death in the year 1926, Bess continued his wish and sought ways to receive a message from him. And although many attempts were unsuccessful, a meeting with the well-known medium Arthur Ford became a turning point. Ford claimed to have received exactly the message that Bess had been waiting for. But was that really possible? Arthur Ford was a well-known medium with a good reputation among spiritualism followers. His abilities attracted the attention of many, although critics often accused him of deception. In Houdini's case, the situation was particularly delicate. Harry had spent his entire life exposing fraudulent methods used by mediums and proving that they merely exploited people's faith and grief. Therefore, any message from him had to be convincing and indisputable. Ford reported that during one of his séances, he had come into contact with Houdini's spirit. The communication took place through a mysterious code that Harry had left for Bess. This code consisted of words and symbols known only to the couple. In the year 1929, Arthur Ford delivered a message to Bess that, according to him, came from Harry. The words matched what Houdini had planned to transmit. For Bess, this was a shocking event. Yet, this discovery raised many questions. How could Ford have known the code? Was he truly a medium, or had he somehow gained access to this information beforehand? Readers, let's think about this. Are we ready to believe in something we cannot verify? Is it possible that some boundaries of our world remain hidden and that only a few manage to cross them? For many, this story became a catalyst for reflecting on life after death. Can we truly communicate with the deceased? And if so, what does that say about our world and how we understand it? Part 2. The Séance That Changed Everything. Arthur Ford organized a séance that, in his opinion, was meant to prove the reality of the connection with the afterlife. Among those present was Bess Houdini, who, despite her doubts, wanted to know the truth. She still carried the memory of Harry in her heart, and although 3 years had already passed since his death, her pain had not faded. Arthur began with words meant to prepare those present for contact with the spirit. Ford claimed that during a meditative state, he had received Houdini's secret code. It was a phrase of 10 words that had special significance for Houdini and his wife. When these words were spoken, Bess froze. It was exactly the code that Harry had left her before his death. The phrase had a symbolic meaning that only the couple could understand. Bess could not hold back her tears. She felt that Harry was truly near. The news of this séance spread quickly. Some media outlets were thrilled by how Ford had managed to deliver such a message, but skeptics remained firm. How did Arthur know the code? Had Bess possibly revealed it to someone before? The questions remained unanswered, which only increased interest in the story. Bess decided to make an official statement. She confirmed that the words Ford had transmitted matched exactly what Harry had promised her. For her, this was proof of the existence of life after death. But just like her husband, she knew how easily people's beliefs could be exploited. Therefore, she urged caution and encouraged people to critically question any similar claims. But could Ford really have had access to this knowledge, or was it just a clever manipulation? Imagine how difficult it must have been for Bess to make a final decision. On the one hand, she had evidence that seemingly could not have been faked. On the other hand, Harry had spent his life fighting against such miracles and exposing fraud. This story reminds us of the complexity of the human mind and heart. It raises the question, can we believe in something that seems impossible? Readers, put yourself in Bess's position. How would you feel if you had such proof? Could you believe that your loved one continued to exist in another dimension? For Arthur Ford, this séance was the pinnacle of his career. He continued working as a medium, but was always under the critical scrutiny of skeptics. Some called him a genius, others a fraud. Yet even today, his name remains linked to one of the most mysterious stories of the 20th century. Part 3. Harry Houdini and his fight against fraud. To fully understand the significance of this story, one must remember who Harry Houdini was. During his professional career, he became a symbol of magic, escapology, and illusions, but his life was also defined by his determination to debunk myths. Toward the end of his life, Houdini actively opposed mediums and spiritualists, whom he believed exploited people's suffering for profit. At that time, spiritualism was growing in popularity. People turned to mediums in hopes of contacting their deceased loved ones. Seances often included miraculous phenomena, such as knocking sounds, moving objects, or voices allegedly coming from spirits. But for Houdini, this was nothing more than deception. He dedicated a large part of his life to exposing those who played with people's emotions for financial gain. Houdini not only had the skills of a master illusionist, but also an extraordinary mind. He meticulously analyzed the methods used by mediums and revealed how they manipulated their clients. His book Magicians and Frauds became one of the most significant exposés in this field. That is why his alleged connection to Arthur Ford after his death seemed so ironic and even contradictory. However, Houdini did not completely rule out the possibility of an afterlife. He believed that if such a connection were possible, it would have to be proven with undeniable evidence. This was precisely why he made the famous agreement with Bess regarding the secret code. Choosing a unique phrase was a carefully considered step to eliminate the possibility of fraud. For many, this story became a test of faith. On one hand, it was difficult to ignore Arthur Ford's words, which matched the secret code. On the other hand, the entire situation was full of contradictions. Was this a real breakthrough, or just the result of a sophisticated emotional manipulation? Readers, what is more important? The belief in the unexplainable or the desire to find a rational explanation for every phenomenon? Houdini's fight against mediums left a lasting impact on many generations. His legacy encourages us to reflect on how we deal with the unknown. Can we completely dismiss what goes beyond our understanding? Or should we perhaps leave room for the possibility that there are things in this world that we simply cannot explain? Part 4. Doubts and Mysteries. Although Bess Houdini publicly confirmed the authenticity of Arthur Ford's words, questions about their origin remained. Contemporary observers were divided into two camps. Some believed it was a genuine contact with the afterlife, while others searched for a rational explanation. Skeptics proposed various theories. The most common one suggested that Ford might have obtained the information about the code from someone within Bess's inner circle. After all, even the most carefully guarded secrets can accidentally be revealed in conversation. However, Bess was convinced that she had never shared the code with anyone. This made the story even more puzzling. Additionally, questions arose about Ford himself. His methods as a medium had been repeatedly criticized. Some believed that he was simply a master at reading people, picking up on unconscious clues they provided during conversation. But how could he have known the exact 10 words that only Houdini and Bess were aware of? Should this case be trusted? And how does it change our understanding of the world? Human nature strives to find an explanation for every phenomenon. We seek logic even where there may be none. But what if there is no logical explanation? Does that mean we are witnessing a true miracle? It is remarkable how this incident influenced many people. Many who heard about the transmission of the secret message began to reconsider their views on life after death. For some, it was proof of the existence of another world. For others, it was an incentive to continue searching for the truth. After this event, Bess never participated in such seances again. She decided that this message was enough to understand that Harry had indeed found a way to send her a sign. She dedicated the rest of her life to preserving her husband's legacy, promoting his art, and fighting against frauds. Readers, put yourself in her position. How would you have acted? Would you have accepted this case as proof? Or would you have sought further contact? Perhaps the story of Arthur Ford and Bess Houdini is more than just a tale of a mysterious séance. It is a story of faith, doubt, and the relentless human quest to understand the unknown. Part 5. The consequences and impact of this story. The transmission of the secret message by Arthur Ford caused a significant stir. This event not only became a media sensation, but also served as an inspiration for numerous discussions in society. Many people began to rethink their views on life after death, as well as the possibilities of science and spiritual practices. One of the biggest dilemmas this story raised was the coexistence of science and faith. During Houdini's time, many scientists rejected any notion of the afterlife as unscientific. Yet at the same time, there were many who believed in something beyond physical reality. Was it possible to bridge this gap? For some, this case became a catalyst for studying spiritualism. They began seeking out similar mediums, attending séances, and even attempting to act as intermediaries themselves. On the other hand, new initiatives emerged aimed at exposing potential frauds who might exploit this story for their own benefit. However, Houdini's influence remains significant to this day. He not only fought against deception, but also sought to build a bridge between faith and science. The code he left for Bess was not just a means to confirm the reality of contact with the afterlife. It was a symbol of the pursuit of truth, no matter what that truth might be. Readers, what is more important to you? Finding a logical explanation or leaving room for mystery? In a world where many seek proof, the story of Houdini and Ford reminds us of the importance of being open to the unknown. Perhaps we do not yet have the tools to understand such phenomena, but that does not mean they do not exist. Part 6. The Legacy of Arthur Ford and Houdini. The lessons from this story remain relevant even today. Despite skepticism, Arthur Ford secured his place in history as a medium who managed to establish one of the most famous contacts with the afterlife. His name became synonymous with debates about the limits of human abilities, the authenticity of spiritualism, and the role of faith in our lives. Houdini, on the other hand, remains a symbol of willpower and the pursuit of truth. His performances, his exposure of frauds, and ultimately, this mysterious incident with a message for Bess remind us that knowledge and faith can coexist. His story teaches us not to fear challenges, to keep searching for answers, and to leave room for mystery. For the American audience, living in a culture of innovation and a constant drive to explain the world, the story of Arthur Ford and Houdini holds special significance. It opens up discussions about the unknown, about what we do not yet understand but strive to grasp. Is this merely a legend that inspires, or is it part of a deeper truth that will one day be proven? Perhaps the secret of Houdini's message lies not only in his words, but also in the very fact of its existence. It challenges us to think about what each of us will leave behind. Will we leave messages that inspire others? Will we strive to achieve more than seems possible? This story encourages us to ask, what if this had happened to me? How would I have reacted to such an experience? And is there room for faith in a world that strives to explain everything? The answers to these questions are not always simple, but they help us grow and move forward. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. We're eager to hear what you think about this story. Remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any exciting stories and mysteries. Wishing you all health and happiness, and I hope you continue to be fascinated by such intriguing topics. Until next time,